Hello and welcome. I did a class today with 12 wonderful students. One lovely lady came up to me afterwards and said all she really wants to do is use photos and a bit of text on a very simple design. So, while it's still fresh in my mind, I'm doing a quick recording here. We're going to recreate this page and this one. So this is about having some simple text on the page, a photograph, and in this case, we're using a frame because we want something beyond just the rectangles. Let's add some blank pages so we can do these. I'm going to click Add Page. Now I want the pages to be exactly the same size as this one. So I'm not going to go to the arrow on the right. I'm going to stay here with the plus sign and click on there and do it again. So when you add a page like this, it comes through with the same background color as the previous page. If you wanted to change that background color, you would select the page by clicking on it, come up here to the background color swatch, and then choose a different color. I'm happy with the green, so I'm going to step backwards by clicking up here where we have the undo arrow. Now, we're going to put a photograph on here. To do that, we'll go to Elements. And yes, photos are in this long list if you start scrolling, but there are a lot of distractions in that list. And to avoid getting distracted, we're going to come up here just next to the magnifying glass, click once, and then we will come down here to the shortcut buttons and choose Photos. We can see those photos here because I recently used them. But if we were to search for photos again, I would click up here and then type in a search terms. I searched for happy face. We can go there. And we can see here those two photos that I used last time. I'm quite happy to use those ones again. I think they're lovely. So we have our photos here. To add a photo to the page, just click once on the photo and it will be added to your page. And we can drag it down. If you want to resize it to make it bigger or smaller, use those corner handles, the round ones. If you want to crop it, you can use the handles on the side. I'm going to step backwards and keep this one as it is. We're going to add the text after this. I'd like to just look at the difference between putting a photo straight on the page and using a frame. So this photo is straight on the page. It's the same way that we just applied that one. And this one here is using a frame. Going to come over here to our new page. Frames are in the Elements panel. We're still in Photos here, which is in the Elements. We'll click on that left arrow at the top, click once into the search bar, and come down here and select Frames. There are lots of shapes of frames. And if you need a photograph to sit inside a circle, for example, this is a brilliant way to do it. So we'll just pop that there. But what I'd like to do here is also have a look in this next section down. If you wanted to see all of the options for that particular section, you can click See All. But I'm happy just with this first one here. So now we have frames. Frames always have this placeholder image in there. So frames can hold photographs, some graphics, not all of them, but a lot of graphics, a color, or a video. And one of the biggest benefits is that you can have all kinds of shapes. We can achieve a lot of different looks. So I'm going to click on this arrow to come back to Photos. Come back up here, click once, click Photos, and I'll grab this one here. And I'll drag her. Now, see the mouse? I'm going to click onto the photo If I click and drag over to the side, the mouse is not overlapping the frame at all. But if I click on the photo and drag it so that the mouse overlaps the frame, it will jump in there, and then I'll let go. If you want to move the photograph around inside the frame, we'll click here and we can shuffle her over. We might want to make her a bit bigger and click away, and then click away. So if we want to get that photograph out of the frame, we click on there again. We can come to these three dots and scroll down until we see detach image, and that pulls it out of the frame. I'm going to click and drag it into the one below because this is the one I want to use. I'll click on this circle frame, which we were just using as an example, and click on the rubbish bin to delete it. We could double click on the picture and maybe make her a little bit bigger inside that area, and then click away over to the side. Now we have a photograph straight on the page and a photograph inside a frame. Let's add the text. In the panel over on the left, I'll click on T for text. There's usually multiple ways to do anything in Canva. We're going to just skip past this whole top section and come straight down here to default text styles. When you're first learning, it's best to just choose one way to do something and keep using that way. And then once you get comfortable with that, you can try some of the other options. Let's just click on the word heading. It's added text onto the page and it's highlighted it blue. We can see that even though it's over the top of the photo. I can't click and drag that text to move it because it's highlighted blue and the text is selected. So I'm going to click away over here. Then I'll come back and select the text and click and drag it up to where we can see it. Now I'd like to replace that text with the words happy days. So I'm going to click in here a couple of times until all of that is highlighted blue, because when the text is highlighted blue like that, it means we can type over it and replace that text. I'm going to type happy days and then click away. I'm going to reselect the text and now we can choose a different font. So with that text selected, everything in the toolbar is about that thing that we have selected. It's about this text. We have the font, the size, text color. This happens to be bold. You can see the purple highlight there. If we turn it off, text looks lighter. I'll click bold back on. Italics, underscore, strike through. These are all similar to the things that we'd be familiar with if we were using Microsoft Word or something similar. There are other things here. For now, we're just going to change the font. So to do that, we'll click where it says Canva Sans. And there are a lot of different fonts in here, but for the purpose of this exercise, I'm simply going to choose one that's up near the top of my list that I have been using recently. I like this one here. I'll click here and you can see it looks different on the page. This is now the name of the font. I want to make that a little bit bigger, so I'll click and drag that. Now we can change the size of the font by clicking and dragging the corner handle, or we can click plus minus up here in the toolbar, or we can click where the numbers are and choose one of the preset numbers. Let's have a look. I'm going to drag this over. When I get it into the center of the page, that pink line appears down the middle to tell us that that's in the middle. Now we're going to change the color of that font. So it's still selected. I'm going to come up here to the toolbar where it says text color. Click on this one, and Canva pulls out colors from photographs which are in your document. So we can see out of this photograph, it's pulled these colors out, and we could choose this. Obviously, we can't use a light color on a light background because it's too hard to read. You want a contrast there. I'd prefer to get something from over here, this bluey green, a dark bluey green. And we can do that so the text is still selected. I'm going to come over here and click on Add a New Color. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have an eyedropper. I'll click on there. And I'm going to hover this selector over the page. So if you can see here, there is a square in the middle of that circle. And that square in the middle is the color that we're going to pick up. So it's showing us individual pixels under there. I'm going to choose something like that one. And I'll click away so we can see it without all of the bounding boxes everywhere. And that looks great. Now I want to we'll go back here to the image that we're copying. And we can see here that I'm using the same text with a different color. And obviously this is bigger on the page as well than it is in our new page. To get that text and copy it over, I might make this one a little bit bigger as well, actually, and drag it back into the middle to get that pink line. Click away, and then I'm going to click on there again to reselect it. I'm going to choose Control-C on a PC or Command-C on a Mac, and that has copied that text. Then when I select this page, oops, now that menu came up because I accidentally clicked on the 3 dots here on the thumbnail. And I select this page, I can now Control-V or Command-V, and that will paste the text in place on the other page. Now let's make this a bit bigger. It doesn't have to be identical to the first one. But it is nice to know what we're trying to achieve before we get into all of the instructions. We have this, and we can see here that with this image, because those colors existed in the photograph, this color text works really well. But with this one, there's no reason for that text to be there. It's not as if it's part of this here. So let's choose a different color. I'll select the text. Come to the text color, add a new color, grab the color picker, and come over here. So it needs to be quite a dark color. I'm thinking maybe one of these dark browns might be nice. And that works well in here with that one. Let's say we want to export this one and put it up on social media or send it by message to someone. We have 4 pages in this design. And I have this last one, page number 4, selected that I want to share with someone. I'll click up here in the top right to the share button. And then we'll go to download. In the free account, we can't change these settings, but we can choose a file type. And for this one, PNG is probably best, I'd say, because we have the text and we want those nice crisp edges. JPEG is also a possibility, but let's go with PNG. We'll keep all of those settings as they are. But this is important, this select pages, because if we just went with the default, by default it selects all of the pages to export and it pops it all into a zip folder. So when you download it, you will be downloading a zip folder and you'll have to unzip it to get everything out. But we only want this one page. So let's come back up here. We'll untick select all and just choose current page. Or because we know it's page number 4, we can come down here and just click on page number 4. Click done and then download. and it's downloading that single image, and it says Happy Days because that is the name of the document that we're working in. So that file will be on your computer in your Downloads folder. You don't have to create complicated things in here. They can be really simple and very effective. Enjoy creating.